Infosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing, and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2K Infosys, how we are different from our competitors. 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus, one-time fee and lifetime access to classes, access to recorded sessions of live classes. H2K Infosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For a free demo class, visit us at h2kinfosys.com.
Now let's move on. Okay, we'll speak something about a variable that is your final. Okay, now in this case, in all the cases, in all our previous cases, I made something as count call, and I'm incrementing this call. And if it is a non-static variable, I want to basically, I can come here, right? I can say equals to 10, right? So I can, okay, this is a static. So in the non-static variable method, if I say public void, let's say multiply, okay. So in this particular method, I can say non-static dot equals to 10. I mean, initially the value of non-static is 0, and I'm incrementing the value to 10. Sorry, I'm initializing the value to 10 here. Okay, so you are pretty much flexible here to do anything with your non-static variables or your static variables. You can basically increment it, or you can do whatever things you want. Okay, but at point of time, yes, Keith, just hang on. Okay, at this point of time, what I can do is, if suppose, let's say you are having a value, let's say int pi, okay, the value of pi, right? So it is, let me make it as float, and the value of pi is around 3.14, right? Let's say. Now, okay. Now, if you can see here, when I make the float pi, when I say 3.14, I give a value as f at the end. Okay. Otherwise, it is going to give you a compile time. It says type cannot convert from double to float. So as I'm using a float, it is giving me to convert your double to float. Basically, when you say 3.14, it is a float. I can even say double also here, and I'm good here. Okay. But as an example, if you use a float, you basically tend to cast that. If you want to use, you can use a float here. Okay. And you can basically use it accordingly. Now, I want, you know that always the value of a pi is around 3.14. Okay. And you do want, in your entire application, in your entire calculation, somebody wants to use it, they're very welcome to use the value of pi. Okay. So, but still I have an access that I can change the value of pi somewhere in my, anywhere. Let's say I want to say PIE equals to 12, right? I still have an option to change the value of the pi here, right? So what I can do is, instead of giving somebody access to change the value of pi, I can very well make this as final. All right, this means when you make any of your variable as final, you cannot basically change that here. Okay, so if you see, you get a compile time issue. All right, so in real time, if you want to make sure, okay, a value which I want to use it as a constant, okay, you use that, you make that variable as final. All right. And also you make that when you are sure that you don't want to change, or nobody can change it, you can very well say final static, right? Because you know that when you make a variable as final and static, first of all, final, right? No one can change this, and make it as a static, because there is no point. I don't have, whenever I want to access the value of pi from somewhere from outside of the class, I don't have to create an instance of the particular class. So in this case, I am making the value as final static. All right. So in olden days of your programming strategy, you will see a lot when you see final static. Okay, that means they have declared this particular variable as a constant basically. Okay. All right. Now in this particular calculate, okay, let's go back to the method here. Okay, I got a request here. Will you talk about setters? Yes, I will talk about setters now. All right. Now, usually, let's say, let me change the signature of the not the signature, the variable name here. First value, and make this as second value. Okay. So what I did in your calculation, usually I made this as first value and second value. All right. And you have got add me, wherein it is going to return you some value, the first value plus second value. And there are other different methods also. You can use it accordingly. Okay. Now, usually what happens is you do not give the access of this particular variable directly to someone who creates an instance of this class. Okay, so what I do is I can have a setters and getters for each and every variable. So what I do, I can I can say, let's say there is an option in Eclipse. You can right click and say source generate getters and setters. Okay. Now here I can click on the first value and the second value and say OK. And when I say OK, you can see the get first name and the set value for your instance variable gets created here. Okay. And I have a setter and a getter method for each of the variables here. Now what is the use of a setter? I can say here, let's say sub dot set value instead of saying something as sub dot first value, I usually say sub dot set method. Okay, so this is a good way of practice of accessing your variable. I can even say as 12 here. Okay, I have no problems in saying this, but as a good practice, you always create a setters and getters for each and every variable which is present in your method. All right. So here, if suppose being a client, let's say I'm a client right now, new class, invoke method client and public static void main, create this. So what I do here in this case, in the calculation, let me just copy this this piece, and let's say I just have a constructor, a no argument constructor here, right? So I can just say calculate. All right. So because I'm creating a no argument constructor here, because now, okay, I just missed out one more thing here. Let me just first finish that, and then I'll talk about setters and getters here. Let me take this. Okay. Now what did we do? We did say public animal. This is your default constructor. Okay. So this is a default constructor right now, and what you do normally from your main method, you say animal Pomorian equals to new animal, because already you have a constructor with a parameter. So you basically invoke this particular constructor, right? So even I can say something like animal a equals to new of animal, right? I'm good because there is already a default constructor. But let's see what happens if I remove this. Let me comment this out. right? The moment I commented this out, if you can see here, I got a compile time error saying that the constructor animal is undefined. Okay, that means when you are creating, when you have already created a constructor with some values, okay, that means you are giving uh, a compulsion to the users that whenever you create an animal, give some length to the animal. Okay, and without even giving a length, you cannot proceed at all. Okay, now here uh, I am forcing the user, okay, whether it could be a invoke method client here. So if somebody says that animal a dog equals to new animal, right? I cannot do that because I do not have a constructor, a default constructor. I need to have a constructor here with, I need to create an instance of this class with some values here. Okay, so this is one of the features which you, with the help of that, you cannot create an instance of a particular class. Okay, okay, so this is one part of your constructor wherein you cannot access it. Now tell me here, in this particular class, okay, the one question to the entire distro here, is there anyone who is not following, or is there anyone who wants me to bit slow or anything as such? Please type in. You can just type in privately also by choosing my name itself there. So I'll just keep it private. Yeah, if you do not have any of the constructors, the default constructor will be created automatically. Okay, but if you have any of the constructors by default, I mean you have created by yourself, at that point of time the default constructors will not get created. Okay. Yeah, we'll get into it, Madhu. First, let me finish up other things also. Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll get into those things. Okay. So no worries.
Jairam, this is Madhu. Let confirm my understanding of the static variable that it is to have a common data that all class instances can share.
Exactly.
That is one thing.
Exactly.
And second is if you declare a static variable, it won't be the memory won't be allocated for each instance of a static variable.
Exactly.
One to one.
Exactly.
That's the advantage, right?
That's advantage.
All right.
Okay. All right. Now, if you guys remember about enum, okay, we have spoken about enum in previous sessions. So right now, I will give you a very good example of an enum here. Okay. Where is that example? Enum example. Okay. Okay. So let me go back to the animal here. Now you have an option that you can only create animals size from 1 to 4. Okay, so for that reason I'm good here because I said animal Pomerian 1, tiger 2, tiger 4. I can have because the moment I do something, I'm doing some functionality here because let's say on this tiger I have invoked your print my behavior, right? And this in the print my behavior, okay, let me even remove this. I don't want these things. Remove this. Okay. All right. Okay. So I have got a print my behavior. Okay. So let me take this. Okay. So you have got two methods, and you are very good at I mean invoking the methods. Okay. You are okay. There is no problem at all. You are basically creating an animal with size 1, size 4, and depending on the print my behavior, what you're doing is if the length is, let's say I'm going to say if the length equals to 1, right? So you're saying my length is 1. I am a one animal. And if, let me take the range as 1, 2, 3. That's all. Okay, so I'm just going to take the range 1, 2, and 3. And if the length equals to 1, else if the length equals to 2, right? So I'm going to say I'm a 2 animal. Else if length equals to 3, okay, I'm saying I'm a 3 animal. So my objective is very clear. Whenever I print the behavior, I am only interested in printing the behavior 1, 2, and 3. Apart from that, I'm not at all interested in any of the things here. Okay. Now, let me take a class. Let's say he's a client or he's a user of this particular animal, and his responsibility is to create animals. Okay. So new class, and you are saying here invoke, or let's say create animal. So I'm good here. I'm creating a public static void main method, and what I'm going to do here is, instead of doing this all these things here, I can just copy this and paste the same thing in your create animal class. And as they both are in the same package, I can variable access the class here. Okay. Now, this as a guy, whoever is creating an animal, right? Let's say I'm a very experienced guy. I know that whenever you create an animal of 1 or 2 or 3. Okay, so right click, run as Java application. There is an error somewhere, problems. Okay, all right, fine. It says that this is the invoke method client. Let me remove this for now. All right. So I have got a create animal, and in the create animal you have got Pomerian and your tiger, and the size is okay, 1 and 3. And I am a very old guy, and I know everything about animals, so I'm good here. So when I say copy the existing methods and say Pomerian.print my behavior or tiger.print my behavior, I'm good. Right click, run as Java application. So I say my length is 1, I'm 1 animal, my length is 3, I'm 3 animal. Okay. Okay, if let's give this a particular name to it. If I say I am a Pomerian, and if the length is 3, I'm say I'm a tiger animal, and the length is 2, let's say I am, let's say, a rat. Okay. So I've got 3 things. If the length is 2, let's say you have got a huge rat which is bigger than Pomerian, okay, but smaller than a tiger. So it is a big animal, not a big animal. He's basically a medium animal. Okay, I right click. I can even create an instance of a rat also, and say rat, and I basically say 3 here, 2 here. Okay, and I say rat dot print my behavior. So right click. Do you have to extend animal in the top? No, here we don't have to, because in the previous session, as I said, this is just a different class here, and this is nowhere related to the inheritance. Okay, this is a different class. With the help of that class, you can basically create the instance of this particular objects. Okay, when we talk about extends and stuff and all, in that place you basically try to inherit the properties of your super classes. You don't have to do that in this case. All right. Okay, now right click, run as Java application. Okay, the question was, do we have to extend animal class in the top? So there was a question here. It says that do we need to say extends animal? Okay, because if you see when you say when you try to create some animal here, you feel that okay, where is this? I mean, how this animal is coming into this class? You don't have to extend this because this class is already present in the same package, so you can very well access that. Okay, I can even access calculation also. If you see here, I can say calculation CLC equals to new of calculation. Okay, so there is no restriction in not to use this. I think calculation doesn't have a default constructor, so it is giving an issue. Okay, so basically if I say this one, copy this and go to your this. Okay, I can even create an instance of your calculation also. All right. Okay, so I'm not interested in this calculation right now. Okay, now I told Pomorian.print my behavior, tiger.print my behavior, and guys, it's already 9. I'll take 5 to 10 minutes more, and then we'll wind up. This is a bit important to understand right now. Okay. So I told Pomorian.print my behavior, tiger and rat print my behavior very well and very good. Okay. Now tomorrow, if I run this, run as Java application, so I get rat, tiger, Pomorian and stuff. Tomorrow a new person comes in and he says I'm going to create a new animal. Let's say this is a create animal. Let's say I'll say new class create huge animal. Okay, so for him he wants to create some huge animal. Okay, so say create huge animal. So what he does basically, he copies, let's say I'll just copy this. He doesn't know what to pass basically, right? He doesn't know what to pass. What he does, he passes 5 here. He wants to create a huge animal. Okay, from his point of view, a huge animal is always more than 5, right? But if you can see, if I say, let's say this is a dinosaur, okay, and I say dino dot print my behavior, right? So that's what I did in the previous sessions also. But this guy, he's not at all aware of what value to pass on here. He's free to pass any of the values here. So what he does, right clicks and runs and sees no output. But he gets mad. I mean, what is this? I'm not getting any output here, right? Now, the question is, how do we restrict a user to pass a particular value itself? Okay, I want to say only pass 1 or 2 or 3. That's all. Okay, so what I can do now, if you know that I cannot pass a string here, right? Because it will not allow me to pass it, because the constructor which we have created is what? It is going to take a integer data type here. For that reason, if we talk about animal here, if there is no point we can use any of the other data type. Okay, if you use your let's say 3.14, okay, it will even give you an issue saying that this is what? This is your double basically, and you cannot use a double in place of your integer. So only you have to use integer. But even though I use an integer, the create huge animal person, okay, the person who is creating a huge animal, he has a flexibility to add anything here. As a result, he is not getting the proper behavior, right? If he right click runs, he says nothing is happening. Now how do we restrict him? Okay, now let's revisit the animal class here. Okay, now in this animal class, what I'm going to do is instead of having a constructor which is going to take an integer value here, I will put a enum here. Okay, so if somebody has at least written some examples of enum or practice this, it will be very useful for them to understand. Okay, so it is actually I'm teasing other guys who has not practiced basically. All right, so let me say right click new. I'm going to create a enum class and say animal length. Okay, animal. Okay, that's all. Finish. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say low, okay, small, comma, medium, comma, large. That's all I have it basically, right? So as I'm selling, or I'm only interested in small, medium, and large, right? And even I spoke to you that I can basically have let's say int value, okay, and here okay, it says delete this. Okay, we'll do one thing. We'll just have a constructor here, right? And in this constructor, I'm going to say I'm going to pass some values here, right? So I'm going to say 1, I'm going to say 2, and I'm going to say 3. All right, and I'm going to say int I, and let me say int size equals to 0, and I want to say this dot size equals to I, or let me say this as also size equal to size. All right, and then I can even have a getter method for this because I want to access this particular value. Okay, so for that reason I say public int get size, so which is basically going to return me the size of the particular animal, okay, or the size of what size basically I need it. Okay, so let's see what am I going to do here. Copy this and go to your animal class. Instead of having an int, I want to say something like this, size. Okay, and then length. Okay, instead of having your length, I want to change the data type also to a length here. Okay, now this dot length equal to length, I'm very good, I have no problems here, but here it says incompatible operand, type animal and length. Okay, it says that it is not actually accepting because this is a different data type, this is a different data type. Okay, now I'm basically going to check here. I'm going to say dot if it is a small. Okay, if it is a small, it is a Pomerian animal, right? So copy this. I do not have to create an instance of the animal length. So if it is your medium, do this, and if it is your large, do this. Okay, now what did I do? I did some changes in the existing methods, okay, because in order to comply through what I need. Now let's go back to the create animal. So in the create animal, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to pass? You cannot pass 1, 2, or 3, right? You are supposed to pass animal dot small, animal dot large, and animal dot medium. Okay, now I created 3 things saying Pomerian small. If I run this application right now, run as Java application, where is that? I'm getting some compilation issues. Okay, so let me comment this out. These things are not required as of now. Okay. Okay, even let me comment this out. Comment this out. All right. Now here in the first person who's already an experienced guy, he knows, okay, animal length dot small, large, and medium. So he runs this application, runs in Java application, and where is the console? Right click, run as Java application. Okay, yeah, the few things which we have to see here, but ultimately what happens? The animal dot length goes here, right? So you come here and you basically say the length. Okay, the length of the animal, you basically come here and you basically say length equals to small. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is let's say, let me even remove this and say dot get we already have one constructor, I believe, here, dot get size. Okay, so let me, instead of doing the other way out, let us first do it in this way. Okay, if the size equals to 1, because the moment I say small and get size, I'll get the value as 1, and I say here dot get size, and this is your, let's say, let me just change this order here. Okay, and change the order here to make it as 3. Okay, I did some modification to the existing APIs. Okay, and now what happens when you say the small dot get size, you get this the value of 1, 2, or 3 here. So let me run this application right now. Create animal, run as Java application. Okay, now what happens basically, okay, the length is you're not getting the length here. So what I can do here is I can go back here and to the animal, and the length, okay, just don't go with the length right now. We'll talk about it at later point. All right, so okay, ultimately I'm getting I am a Pomerian. I'm a Pomerian. Is it 3 times? Is it getting 3 times here? Hang on, what's happening here? When you say animal.large, one sec, let me debug this. So you say debug as Java application. It comes here, and you can even basically see this value. Control Shift, right click, inspect. Okay, you can see the value as 2 here. Okay, the value is 2, and F6. What's happening here? One sec, something is wrong. Alright, so what you're doing, you're just saying size, and this size goes into the size of the animal here. This is the size. Ah, okay, I got it now. We did a mistake here. Okay, so in this, I'm not basically setting the length over here. Okay, I think we can go back to the previous example. Let me just run this and see. Right click, run as application. Okay, so you're saying the length is small, the length is large, and length is medium. So depending on that, what you get the length here. Okay, I think let me change the value here. Let me go back. Guys, we'll do one thing. I think it's more than what we are supposed to. We'll do one thing. We'll just stop this discussion here, and we'll proceed with the same discussion in the next session. Is it okay for all of you? Okay. All right, I get it. Yeah, understand. Yeah, the next class will be on Monday. Okay. So I would request everyone to at least get a hold of what is an enum. Okay, because this will be a very good discussion for us. I don't want to overhead you right now, so for that reason I want to stop this. We'll have a good discussion on Monday, and I would request everyone to please practice this enum, okay, and come with it. And one sec, guys. Give me a sec. Meeting link. Okay. And I would request everyone to please fill in the feedback form and put some comments to it. whether I'm teaching bad or good or anything as such, and so that I understand your thoughts and we can take it up accordingly. Okay, so request you to do that. All right, thanks guys, and have a nice weekend. And if you have any questions, I'll be there for five minutes right now. You can just ask me questions now, and then we can move on. Thank you. Oh no no.
সুমিতা পজ করতে চাই রেকর্ডিংটা পজ করতে চাই
Hello, Jairam.
Yeah, yes.
I have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
Ina,
Mm-hmm.
like, is there any way to assign
H2K Infosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing, and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2K Infosys, how we are different from our competitors. 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus, one-time fee and lifetime access to classes, access to recorded sessions of live classes. H2K Infosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For a free demo class, visit us at h2kinfosys.com.